Welcome everybody. We're going to start in just a minute. Go over some of the steps on becoming a professional land surveyor. If anybody's got any questions or comments as we're moving along, feel free to type them in there. All right, so tonight we're going to cover, like I said, we're going to basically becoming a professional land surveyor, some of the steps that are required, what exams you got to take, different requirements for each state, and just kind of touch base briefly on them and go over them. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. You can also give us a call at the 877-758-6262 between 8 and 2 Eastern Time. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. All right, so again, what we're going to do is the steps required to become a professional land surveyor. So first thing we need to do is set a goal. So is your goal to become a professional land surveyor? Are you already currently a surveyor in another state? So just different information. How long do you want to take in order to become a professional land surveyor? Setting some goals and expectations. So next is going to be learning the requirements. So each and every state, of course, has its own requirements. So if you were to get licensed in, say, Texas, they're going to have different requirements than they will in California or Florida, whether it be education or experience. So we can go over that and talk about that as well. Again, that talks into step 3, which is your education and experience requirements. Next, we're going to go into the FS exam. So touch base briefly on what that covers. Then you'll go, and after your FS exam, you're going to go ahead and basically gain or obtain more experience in the field and working, and then you'll take your PS exam, then your state specific, and always remember to keep a learning mindset. That's the most important part. So setting a goal. So like we just talked about, so what state are you looking to get licensed in? That's the biggest one. Again, every state is different, and I'm going to go over one of the states with you here in just a second. So do you meet the education requirements for your state? And as well as, do you meet the experience requirements for that state? So what other requirements for the state? Again, they vary. Every state has its own requirements. So for instance, pre-approval. Okay, do I need to have pre-approval prior to going and taking the FS exam? So in the state of California, you do not. You can go ahead and you can study for your FS exam, take your exam. Once you pass it, then for your PS and state-specific exam in California, you'll have to go ahead and get board approval. But prior to that, you can take it. In the state of Texas, it's a little different. You have to get board approval prior to sitting for the fundamentals of surveying or the FS exam. Education and experience. So like we were just talking about, in the state of California, land surveyor and training applicants are required to meet certain requirements. So in the state of California specifically, they need 2 years of post-secondary or college level land survey education, or 2 years or more of land surveying related work experience, or a combination of both. So basically work experience totaling 2 years, as well as with surveying education, as well as passing the FS exam. So again, in the state of California, you can take your FS exam without having to get board approval. So you can study for that now, take your exam. Once it's completed, these are the requirements you'll need in order to move on or advance. Next, we'll talk about scheduling your exam. So once you meet the requirements for the FS or PS state-specific exams, you're going to get board approval if required. Again, in the state of Texas, you are required to get approval prior to sitting for the FS exam. California, you do not. North Carolina, you do not. Every state varies, so just make sure you check the requirements. If you do have any questions, you can always give us a call and get a hold of us, and we can help you out. Once approved, you can schedule your exam for the FS and PS. Again, you can find out this information by going to ncwees.org. Put in your state, put in which exam you're trying to take, and it'll tell you whether you do or do not need prior approval. All right, studying for your exam. So each exam is going to be a little bit different. So the fundamentals of surveying exam is 110 questions. It's a 6-hour exam, giving you just around 3 minutes to cover all of the questions. The PS exam is condensed and covers a little bit smaller section of categories, but it's a little bit longer with 7 hours, and it's 100 questions. So taking the FS exam, this is what we were talking about. So survey processes and methods, you can have anywhere from 16 to 24 questions on your exam. Mapping processes and methods, 14 to 21 questions. Boundary law and real property principles, anywhere from 19 to 29 questions. I mean, that's a pretty big difference. You got 10 different questions, or you could have up to 10 more questions than somebody else who just recently took it. Surveying principles, same thing, 13 to 20 questions. Survey computations and computer applications, 17 to 26 questions. Again, almost 10. So you could have 17, and the gentleman next to you or one of your friends that's studying with you, he could go in the next day and have 26 questions just on that one category. You just never know. It's all computer generated. It's random. Business concepts, 11 to 17 questions. And applied mathematics and statistics is anywhere from 10 to 15 questions. And that's what's covered on the FS exam for you. So again, after we go ahead and pass the FS exam, the next thing is to just continue to gain experience. So just working towards your PS as well as that state-specific exam. Again, every state has its own requirements, so you want to make sure that you do meet these requirements in order to sit for the PS or for the state-specific exam. So if we look at Alabama, for instance, Alabama requires, in order to become a professional land surveyor, 4 years of surveying education and 4 years of experience. You could also have 4 years of related surveying plus 5 years of experience, or 4 years of education and science not survey related, 6 years of experience, or bachelor's degree basically, and 42 credits in surveying and 6 years of experience. So there's a lot of different ways to obtain your PLS. You don't always have to have a surveying degree. Some states do require it, but not every state does. So it's just a matter of knowing which one you're in, which one you want to get licensed in. All right, so on the PS is going to cover basically a smaller category of topics, but these are the topics that are covered. So legal principles, you're going to have your principles of evidence, common law boundary principles, sequential and simultaneous conveyances, concepts, legal descriptions of real property, evidence, you're going to use professional surveying practices. You're going to cover all these topics and categories on the PS exam. Again, once you pass your FS and PS and they're both completed, all you've got left is your state exam. So you're almost there. All you got is one exam left. Again, we can find out from going to ncwees.org. On there, you can type in the state. They will tell you whether you need or do not need board approval prior to sitting for the FS-PS exam. But from there, you can also get the link to the board for that specific state. So if you want to get licensed in Florida, you can go to ncwees.org, type in, Florida is where I want to get licensed, and, put the FS or PS exam, and they'll have a link there to the application and everything for the Florida board. On there, you'll be able to find out what's on the exam for the state-specific exam. Same thing with Texas, California. All of them can be found with a link through ncwees.org. Again, as you're going through this, try and keep a learning mindset. Try different learning tactics. So everybody learns a little differently. Some people are more visually, some are more auditorial, some are by writing it down, doing it 1, 2, 3 times. Just find out what works for you. Try different ways, different methods to find out what's the best way for you to study and to learn and to retain the knowledge. Value the process over the end result. So again, just learn, obtain the information, just like when you're at the job, first time you're out there, first week, second week, third week, you're going to be new, you're trying to figure it out, and, you're going to find different ways or techniques in order to do something to expedite it and then also to retain it so you know how to do it for, continual. Next, make a new goal. So every time you go ahead and you complete a goal and you're like, great, I just passed my FS exam. It took me 3 months of studying. Great. Okay, so now you got to pass your PS exam. How long do you want to take to study for that? Let's say you want to take 3 months. Okay, great. So you'll set a goal. Go through that. Once you get to the end, you schedule your exam, you pass it. Great. Now you set another goal and you'll set it for your state specific, whether it be Florida, California, North Carolina, wherever you are. Set your goal. Say, okay, I want to pass it and spend 20 hours a week or 8 hours a week studying for my exam. It's going to take me so long. So set a goal every time for each and everything you're doing. And once you pass that goal or meet that goal, just set a new one. Another one, think realistically about the time. This is a big one that a lot of individuals have problems with. So we'll have people that will go and basically buy course material or a full-length practice exam 1-2 weeks prior to taking the exam. I mean, it doesn't give you a lot of time to study. Let's say that if you just buy the practice exam and you go over it though, and you get, a 60 on it. Okay, well, great. But now you need to go back and refresh and see what you're missing or, restudy those topics or categories that you were low on. So it doesn't give you a lot of time. So be realistic with it. So don't just go and schedule your exam and be like, okay, well, I think 3 weeks and I'll have plenty of time to study for this exam. You don't know. So like I said, go through the course, go through, your study materials, take, as many practice quizzes, tests, exams as you can. Once you feel comfortable with it, have taken it a few times, then go ahead and sign up for your exam, take it, and then you'll be ready to go. So, but always think realistically about your time. All right, so just to hit this real quick with you guys. So NLC Prep, we do offer for FS and PS. Basically the courses, they're all up to date. We've got some of the most current and up-to-date courses. You're going to find workbooks, quizzes, videos, articles to read, full-length practice exams, like I was saying. So the FS is 110 questions. We've got that, as well as for the PS, we've got a 100-question full-length practice exam. So basically it'll mimic just like you taking the real exam with the morning and afternoon session to help you prepare for those 2 exams. Again, NLC Prep also provides support while you're taking these exams. So, just because you're going and studying with us or buy something, you can always go ahead and ask us questions. That's what we're here for. We're trying to help everybody become licensed that we can. So, don't feel bad about reaching out to us and being like, hey, I'm not understanding this question. Send in a ticket to us. Let us answer it for you. Let us be there for you to help you out to achieve your goal. So that's one of your goals, is become a professional land surveyor. Well, use us. We're just a resource. We're another tool in your toolbox. Think of us that way. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment or chat so I can get back to you. And we're just going to go over this real quick one more time for you. So the steps required to become a professional land surveyor. Remember, always set a goal. So you want to become a PLS in the state of Florida. Okay, so what are the requirements? Learn those requirements first. You know, state of Florida has different requirements than California, than New York, than any of them. So state of Florida, for instance, you're going to have a bachelor's degree in surveying and 4 years of experience, or a bachelor's degree in general with 25 credit hours in surveying and 6 years of experience in order to become a PLS. Okay, so that's one part. So you already know, okay, I don't have a bachelor's degree, or I have a bachelor's, it's in something else. What else are you going to need to obtain in order to get that? So if you already have a bachelor's degree, you can go ahead and say, okay, well, I need 25 credit hours and 6 years of work experience in order to become a PLS. So that helps you set your goal. So you could be like, okay, well, I want to become one in Florida. I know it's going to take no less than 6 years working for somebody, as well as obtaining the knowledge. Again, education and experience requirements, just like we touched based on, every state's going to be different. Learn what your state needs, what it requires, what you have, and set some goals for it. FS exam, again, the FS exam is going to be your first exam. Every state's going to be different. State of California, you're not required to get pre-approval. Texas, you're required to get approval from the board. So just know which state you're trying to get licensed in, and check with the requirements. Always remember ncwees.org. You can log on there. It'll give you some information. You can also give us a call at 877-758-6262, and we can go over it for you and help you out and help steer you and let you know what experience you need, what are the education requirements, anything that you might have. All right, so once we go ahead and pass the FS exam, remember, just keep obtaining more experience. So keep working for, the company that you're working for, or shadowing, or whatever you're doing to gain that experience. No matter whether you only need 5 years of experience, 2 years of experience, it's only going to help you. So it doesn't hurt to have more than what's required. Don't think of it as a minimum. Think of it as just, again, putting more information or having more knowledge for when you become a PLS and go out on your own. Then you've got your PS exam. PS exam, again, is going to go ahead and be the one just prior to the state specific. Depending on the board, again, you just need to make sure that you meet the requirements in order to take that, or whether they have board approval is required. And then state specific, all of them, you're going to go ahead and you're going to apply on there. You can find the information that you need at ncwees.org. It'll give you links to all the different states. So Texas, California, Florida. It'll give you links to the boards from their site. And then remember, keep a learning mindset. Always keep learning. It's not going to hurt you at all. So be realistic with your goals. Try different learning techniques. So again, maybe watching a video works better for you. Maybe writing it down works better, or listening to it. So whether you're, out in the field and you have an auditory tape of Brown's book, or you have our videos downloaded and you're just listening to them in the background, then you can watch them later. Whatever works for you, just find different ways and try them. Well, thanks, Frederick, for the subscription. All right, so value and process over the end results. Again, set your goals, know what you're achieving or trying to achieve, and just work towards it. You're not failing, you're only learning as you're continuing. So even if you're not able to pass that exam, or don't have the college credits or the experience yet, that's okay. That's just something to work towards. That's a goal. Set your goal, work towards it. Think realistically about the time. Again, depending on the state you want to get licensed in, state of Florida, 6 years of experience if you only have a bachelor's degree and it's not in surveying. Every state's different. Let's see what we've got. Pick another state for you. All right, so Alabama. So Alabama, let's say 4 years of education in surveying, 4 years of experience, or 4 years bachelor's degree in civil engineering. They need 15 credit hours in surveying specifically, plus 4 years of experience, or 4 years of education and survey related, plus 15 credit hours and 1 year of experience. So again, it's going to depend on, what state you're in, what state you want to get licensed in. That's in order to sit for the surveyor in training or the FS exam. It's going to be very similar for the actual requirements though for a PLS. So 4 years of education in surveying, 4 years of experience, 4 years of related to surveying. So a bachelor's degree in surveying and 4 years of experience, or 4 years of educational science not survey related, and 6 years of experience. So any bachelor's degree in science, 42 credit hours you'd need to obtain in surveying, and 6 years of experience. So, you're basically think realistically about your time and goals. Again, you're going to need to set that and say, okay, well, it's going to take 6 years in the state of Alabama for me to achieve this. That includes getting your license, getting your degrees, getting your experience. So just remember all that when you're going through it. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. Thank you again, guys, for your time, and we'll see you next time.